We have Joanna Cooper, General Manager of Daimler Trucks, with us today.
Hello, hello.
This is Amplify, a retail automotive podcast brought to you by Reuters Events and ASOTU. It's time to make the most innovative voices in retail automotive louder.
We can already tell this is going to be a fun one.
Absolutely.
I'm ready.
Because first of all, you run a giant manufacturing facility.
Absolutely. I
So-
build trucks.
Which is dope. Everybody else is like,
It's just cool.
I got a data thing,
Right.
or I do, I just
API
have an
now
API
connects.
and stuff.
I make stuff look pretty,
Right. You make stuff look cool.
and I make
build
stuff
things.
move.
Tell us about
There
the
you
trucks
go.
you make.
We build in my facility in Mount Holly, North Carolina, Freightliner, medium-duty trucks.
Big trucks.
What do you drive?
Medium duty.
What do I drive?
She's like a Miata. Right.
No, come on now. I drive a Mercedes-Benz GLE.
Okay.
There you go.
We'll take that.
That works.
We'll take that.
Good.
Well, actually, I'm trying to think the medium duty trucks. What is that class? You said Freightliner, so I automatically think of like a semi.
Yep, we are in class 6 through 8. So
That doesn't help me either.
So medium duty, so all of our trucks that we build are turned into things like car haulers and construction vehicles.
Okay.
We also sell trucks to Penske Truck Leasing. They're one of our biggest customers, as well as Ryder. So they rent, their
So
trucks.
not
and
like
have the
an
boxes.
18-wheeler, but like a box truck or something like that.
At my
might come
plant,
out.
we do
Yeah.
the box truck
Yep.
type
Yep.
thing, but we also build 18-wheelers.
Man, I want to see this plant.
I know. Can we come take a tour? Go through this
Oh, yeah.
thing? That would be a ton
All
of fun.
day. I do at least 3 a week.
Oh, we're doing tours. We're going on a
on a
tour. Truck tour. How did you end up in this business, and how did you end up to be the general manager? Like, where did you start? Like, how'd you get there?
Oh man, I started in Detroit, Michigan, as just a simple girl that went to Detroit public schools and said yes to a lot of different things. When I graduated from college, I wanted to be a real estate tycoon.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I crashed and burned very quickly.
What was that about it that didn't work?
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah,
I
there's always
was
that.
aligned with the wrong people that didn't have a lot of integrity, and I was young.
Yeah.
And so
Full of energy,
full
ready
of
to go.
energy. I'm a millennial, so I don't want to work a job because I don't want people to have to tell me what to do.
I already know.
All right, I already know everything. I knew nothing. So a recruiter called me one day, said that he saw my resume out in the internet, and said there was a perfect position for me at Detroit Diesel Corporation. So I did 3 interviews in a week, January of 2008, and in Daimler or big box corporate fashion, things take some time.
Yeah.
So May 2008, I finally actually started in purchasing as the associate buyer in the purchasing department. So I spent the first 7 years of my career in purchasing. 3 of those 7 I lived in Germany. Und ja, ich kann Deutsch
That's so
sprechen.
cool.
She's dropping the German
wow,
too.
dropping German too.
Yes,
That's really
I can
cool.
speak German. And during that time, I just, I learned a lot about the business. I was able to develop this business acumen and build a network and learn so many different facets. But I knew purchasing, I was good at it, but it wasn't my passion. And I wanted to find that. So I said yes to an opportunity to return back to Detroit. And at the time, we were industrializing the DT12 transmission. So it's an automated manual transmission. And so, truckers used to shift 1.5 million times. And then,
Yeah.
now most of the trucks that are on the road have an automated manual transmission. So they don't have to shift as
I did
as
not know
often. So it's pretty cool. And so that technology took off and we needed to industrialize. And at that time, I felt like, man, I enjoy being in the plant way more than I like being at my desk putting together PowerPoint presentations.
I can see that.
But I'm
Yeah.
good
I can
at
see that.
PowerPoint, though. I'm phenomenal in PowerPoint.
Strong PowerPoint
Strong
presentations, right?
PowerPoint skills. Microsoft has nothing on me. And so
But the like getting your hands dirty, being in the work of like, hey, let's put something together felt really a lot better. To
And
you.
it was the collaboration. It was the gray area. It was the people. Right. I was an athlete growing up, so it's wins and losses, and it's that
what sport?
competitive basketball.
Yes,
Very nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, so you have that, like, it's a contact sport.
It's
You gotta be
contact
out there.
sport. Yep.
There's offense, there's defense.
You got to have grit. You have to have resilience. You got to be able to pick yourself
practice.
up, dust your clothes off, keep moving forward. And that's what manufacturing is to me. And so it felt like I had arrived back at home and I had found my place. And so I transitioned over to the dark side of operations in 2016. And
it's the old front of the house, back of the house thing, even in manufacturing.
Here's what I love. A second ago, you said like you kind of glazed over this fact that the truckers shift 1.5 million times.
I'm exaggerating.
A ton. They're just constantly shifting, especially if they're
gears. Yeah.
Especially if they're in any sort of mountain conditions or hills or anything like that, right? And so the technology was serving the end user really, really well. What type of end user stuff right now are you guys looking at on the manufacturing side to solve and make sure that like the people driving are served well by what you're doing in manufacturing?
Oh, absolutely. So as technology has improved, we have safety functions on our trucks for lane assist, eye radar, stopping.
Right.
Same thing that you have in the passenger cars. We're doing work in the autonomous space. So we own Torque Robotics. It's a subsidiary of Daimler Truck now, and one of my colleagues, Joanna Butler, she runs that division of how do we have safe autonomous trucks on the road that can stay in the lane and deliver product and move the world.
Come on.
Like I think about how long have you been in the seat you're in now?
In this seat, almost a year. So it'll be a year in June.
Okay. Have you? What does the shift to electrification mean for you? Are you in that world yet? Right? Like, what's happening? What do you see coming down the line? Because obviously, it's a big transition coming. We're hearing a lot about it in commercial trucks.
Yeah, it's here actually. We built in our Portland, Oregon facility the eCascadia. A few weeks ago, we just unveiled the EM2 at the ACT Expo. So those are two products that are actively designed, developed.
What is that product?
It is the electric Cascadia, is the electric big rig truck. So for 18-reelers, and the EM2 is the medium-duty variant of what I'm building in my plant today. So we are at Daimler Truck leading the transformational change in our industry. That's one of our what's for the purpose of moving the world and to make sure we have a world here for the next generations to actually live in, and it's not like Mad Max.
Well, yeah, because like trucks are a ton of the road traffic, a ton of the consumption of fuel, right? And so it's a big focus, but I feel like it's tougher, or is it not? It's kind of like in the same lane as what's going on the passenger side. Like what's the difficulty in the commercial side and in the large truck side that maybe the passenger side of vehicles isn't having to deal with?
Well, why do you think it's tougher?
It seems tougher because you got to get a battery that can move a truck. Like that thing's huge.
It's bigger.
Right? It's just way bigger.
Yeah, everything is bigger and better. The development cycles take time, but that's with any new product. The transition for the market takes time. The customer acceptance, the dealer acceptances, but I think that we've been on this journey already for years. So in secret, in developing. And so it's not a idea. We're not just at the beginning trying to figure it out. We have a strategy. We have a vision. We know where we want to go. We know how quickly we want to try to get there. And so we are actively working on all levels of our organization to make that happen. And the important thing is it's for the right reasons.
We're coming out of the supply chain debacle. Everything's starting to loosen. It's a debacle. We'll call it a debacle. Things are loosening up with different manufacturers in automotive at different rates. How are you faring, as far as being able to source all the materials and supplies you need to put out the volume you need to match demand right now?
I wish you had some wood on this table before I say
knock
my
on
next.
Hold on, let me look around.
There's
there's Formica and glass. There's no wood.
This year it's been better for the most part. We have acute challenges here or there, but in comparison to the past years from COVID and coming out COVID, we're in a much more stable condition.
So stable.
stable,
stable. Knock
some
on
wood, just to make sure things don't go crazy.
Correct.
Last question.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Positive.
Unless you ask a question, because
There you
this is
go.
our last question. What drives you as a person? Like why do you where does the passion come from? Because you obviously have it.
Oh man, that is
fire.
a good question. I think that I live a purpose-driven life, and I only was able to have the passion that I have for what I do because I continue to say yes to a number of different things, and always willing to take a risk, always willing to be uncomfortable. I was able to find my what and my why, and I think those are two very important answers to questions that we all should be able
What's your why?
to achieve for
Sorry,
ourselves.
one more question.
Got us. She got us. She knew it.
Yeah.
She was like, really?
I say all the time that I build people who build trucks.
Ooh, I'm glad we asked that.
Come
last
on now,
question.
that's the way to drop it. I don't think you need to explain that too much because our community and our audience totally understands that, and I love that you build people that build trucks. That is a great way to end
Yeah, I
this.
think
Joanna,
so.
thank you so much for joining us. Your energy is
you for
infectious,
having
and I
me.
love that we got to have a conversation
Yeah.
about something like manufacturing today.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening to the Amplify podcast, brought to you by Reuters Events and ASOTU. For more engaging episodes like this, subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. You can learn more about our hosts, Paul J. Daly and Cal Mountseer, by visiting asotu.com.